स्वाध्याय टीवी। डॉक्टर बाबा साहेब आंबेडकर ओपन यूनिवर्सिटी।
Namaste. I am Dr. Hiren Joshi. Welcome you to this session on installing Wamp and PHP basics. In last few sessions, I have covered introduction to web application development, what softwares are required to develop web application. We know that we require a browser for client end and web server, then server side scripting language, database for developing web application. Then we learn about HTML. So, first we learn about basics of HTML, then we consider how to use HTML table, images, and finally, we learn HTML forms and cascading style sheet. As we would like to develop web application development using PHP. So, for PHP we need to install some web server. So, there is a Wamp is a one option. Apart from Wamp, you can install XAMPP, XAMPP to run PHP application as well. So, let us start that what about Wamp, how you can install Wamp server and ABC of PHP. Wamp is a web server which consists of W for Windows operating system, A for Apache web server, M for MySQL database and P for PHP. Just let me give you idea about. So, is acronym where W stands for Windows, A for Apache server, Apache is a web server, MySQL is a RDBMS means relation database management system and PHP is a server side scripting language. Wamp is freely available. So, you can easily download through internet and install in your PC and you can run using Wamp. Now, recently the version of available Wamp, if you are using Windows operating system, so it requires your system must install Microsoft Visual C++ redistribution to successfully install Wamp. In case you have not installed this on your PC, then Wamp might not correctly install. So, make sure before installing Wamp, you must install this Microsoft VC++ redistribution. You can freely download Wamp from the www.wampserver.com/en. There are various versions available for either 32-bit or 64-bit. Right now, in my laptop, I have Windows 8 64-bit. So, I use Wamp server 64-bit 2.5 version. If you have 32-bit systems available, you can download this Wamp server. Once you download this Wamp server, the symbol will be available to you. It is actually Wamp server 2.5, but Wamp server has a Apache version 2.4.9, MySQL 5.6 and PHP 5.5 for 64-bit is available. Once you download it, just double click on this icon. So, it will start Wamp server installation. It will give you first dialog box, setup for Wamp server 2, where first it will ask to accept the agreement for license agreement. This is actually GNU license, because as I say, open source means it is not freely available. Open source means openness to get the source code, and even you can modify that code and redistribute to the community. So, there is a difference between freeware and open source. Open source is a openness for modification in the code. So, Wamp is a freeware as well as open source also. So, you can get the source code for that Apache web server, or I can say Wamp, all this available is freely available apart from Windows is proprietary, and if you have Linux, then you can use LAMP, Linux, Apache, MySQL and PHP. So, it is totally free, because Linux is also freeware and open source, you can easily get it, but generally we are using Windows. So, I prefer Wamp, and as I say, you can also install XAMPP also, it is just matter of choice, but I think Wamp is comparatively easy to install than XAMPP. So, that is why I prefer Wamp. So, after clicking accepting the agreement, if you click on next button, the next dialog box will ask that this screen, and it shows which version of which software you are installing. Here you can see Apache version, MySQL, PHP, PHP SQL Buddy and Xdebug. If you click on next button, then it will be asking the destination location to install your Wamp server. By default it is C drive Wamp, but suppose you want to choose some different, as I did here. I choose H drive, and inside H drive they will create one folder, the folder name Wamp. So, here I give that path as a H drive Wamp and click on next button. It will install. It will also shows you that it require at least 443 MB free disk space on that particular drive. So, once you click on next button, it will asking you additional features like whether you want require additional icons for create a quick launch icon and desktop icon. I check it because it will helpful when I want to start my Wamp server. So, I select these two and click on next button. As I click on next, it will say now the server is ready to install, because we have provided all the required details. As you click on install button, it will be installed. During installation, if I am using Windows, they consider Internet Explorer as a by default web browser, but if I want to choose something different, as I did here, so it will ask you to please choose your default browser. Here I choose Mozilla Firefox, which is available in program files, C drive, and in C drive there is a program files, and in program files I choose Firefox and click open. So, it will be considered as my default browser. After that, finally, it will ask you to provide mail parameters, because if you want to send email using PHP script, so you have to provide this parameters. If you do not have any idea about what to enter in it, you can just take by default values and click on next button. So, finally, it will show that click finish to exit setup and completing setup wizard, and if you click on finish, so your Wamp has successfully installed. And in previous screen there is a checkbox launch Wamp server 2.0 now. So, I can assure that Wamp has successfully installed. So, as I check this box and click finish, it will open my Wamp server. You can see it is by default localhost, HTTP localhost. This is installed on by default port. In case the by default port is not available, you have to provide some another port. By default port is not available, then there are various port available, you can set that port, and this is the first screen of Wamp server. Let me show you, this is how you can run it once it is installed. So, look at, I have this shortcut icon here, Wamp server. If I double click on it, it will ask for permission. As I say yes, it will open Wamp server. You can see there is a green icon for server. And to check, I just move my mouse cursor at localhost and click on it. So, that will be open in the browser. As I choose default browser is Firefox, it will open in Firefox, and at URL it is HTTP localhost. So, this is my Wamp is running. Now, for HTML we are using editor NOTEPAD. But for writing PHP, of course, we can use NOTEPAD, but I prefer a freely available editor called NOTEPAD++. Again, it is freely available, so you can download from internet. The URL to download NOTEPAD++ is notepad-plus-plus.org. You can download it and click the exe file. So, very easily it will install on your PC. Let me just show you how it will be looks once it is installed. Say if I click Notepad, look at here, this is the Notepad++ I have pinned up. As I open it, so this is my Notepad++ editor. In this editor, the syntax is colored. So, it will help me to differentiate between the reserved keywords or variable name, etc., and it will makes less error when we type code. After installing Wamp, let us start to PHP. Initially PHP is called personal home page, but then from version 2, in fact some experts says PHP version first is never released. So, in next version or PHP 2, it is called hypertext preprocessor for PHP. PHP is a server side scripting language, because the code you type that will be executed on the web server. So, it is a server side scripting language. Rasmus Lodorov is considered father of PHP, though PHP is a open source. There are many experts contributed to develop PHP, but Rasmus Lodorov is considered one of the pioneer for developing PHP. Now, why PHP is so popular and everyone using? So, let us look some of its good features of PHP. The first one is PHP is open source. So, open source, as I said earlier, that you can also get source code for the whole application, and you can modify it and redistribute to the PHP community. So, it will be very easy for everyone to use it, as well as it is freely available PHP. Second thing is portability. Here portability means PHP can install on many operating system. It can be Windows, Unix or Linux or Mac OS. PHP can run on any operating system. Then PHP support many databases. It includes MySQL, which is by default available with PHP. It can work with Oracle, it can work with IBM DB2, even PHP can work with SQLite, and PHP also supports Open Database Connectivity Standard, or simply called ODBC. Through ODBC, it can work with Microsoft products like MS SQL Server as well. Then performance. So, PHP is very fast. Even using a single inexpensive server, PHP can provide many hits per day without any error. One survey made by Zen Technology proves that PHP is very fast compared to its competitors. Now, the learning curve for PHP is very easy. To learn PHP, it is very simple. The syntax is very similar to C or JavaScript or Java languages, and learning curve is very easy. PHP, this version 5 on, in fact version 3 and 4 also support, but PHP version 5 has some more good features of object oriented programming. It can support class, objects, inheritance, abstract classes, interfaces, private and public methods, etc. And last one is availability of support and documentation. So, Zen Technology, which is the we can say forces behind the PHP engine, is support PHP to use by wider community, and there will be lot of forums available. So, in case you require any help, you can get it, and there is a documentation is also available. In fact, the site php.net has all the manual available for PHP. So, if you require any help during your PHP coding, you can go to the php.net and get regarding help for whatever the version you are using. So, these are the some of the main features of PHP. Now, let us look at the PHP tag styles. So, PHP supports 4 types of tag style. The first one is known as a XML style. In that, within the angle bracket, you can write question mark PHP. So, this is the starting tag, and to end you can use question mark. This is the most recommended style and we will use it. Other styles are short style, like here you write only question marks. Script style is like script language is equal to PHP, and to end the script you can use /script. And ASP style you use percentage symbol for starting and ending the PHP script. So, we use XML style, it is mostly recommended style. Of course, you can set it through your Wamp server. I just show you how you can make various changes. So, this is your Wamp server, and there is in PHP there is a file called php.ini. If you open it, it will give you lot of information. So, if you want to change any tag style, you can change it, but I strongly recommended please do not do it unless you are damn sure, because once you make any setting in it and it will may not work properly. So, either you have to reinstall Wamp again. So, you just do it if you are totally sure. Even you can find there about tag. So, you can find tag. So, it will shows which tag you right now it is using. So, it will show open tag, and look at here default value is on and off. So, these all are various values, these are you can set in php.ini, but we will be strict to XML tag style. Now, in HTML white space is ignored by browser. So, same way in PHP you can also use white space. White space include spaces, tabs and carriage return, and it should be used to improve the readability of your code. In PHP you can also write comments. Comments is ignored by PHP engine. PHP is a interpreted language, that means it will be interpret the statement one by one, not compiled language, server side interpreted language. So, in PHP to write comments you can either write single line comments or multi line comments. Multi line comments is also known as a block level comments. The syntax is very similar to C language. If you want to write single line comment you can use 2/, and if you want to write multiple line comments use slash asterisk, then write your comments, and to close that comments asterisk slash. So, that will be helps you to write comments. It is said that a good programmer should use comments whenever required. Then PHP statements end with semicolon. Each PHP statements end with semicolon. If you do not provide semicolon, PHP will consider it is as a continuous statement. PHP syntax is similar to C language, and PHP is a case sensitive. So, there will be different if you write the same thing in small case or uppercase or camel case. Now, PHP supports the 6 data types. These data types are integer, double, string, boolean, array and object. Integer data type stores whole number, and it can store value up to -2147483647 to positive the same value. Double data type is used to store decimal value. It is also known as a floating point value, and it can also store up to large number of value including exponential value, and it can support up to 16 digit precision after the decimal point. String data type is used to store any types of character. Boolean value is used to store true or false value. It can store only one value, but maximum 2 value you can get either true or false. Array is a special type of data type. It allows you to store more than one value of the same or different data type, and object is again a special type, which object can have properties and method of a class. We will learn array and object later on, but this 4 we will be used in the first phase. These are the some of the examples of data types, say integer as a 15 and -21. This plus or minus sign is optional. If no sign is provided, by default it will be considered as a positive sign. Double as a decimal point, so 15.4 -21.73 etc. These all are double data types. String you can use either double quote or single quote, though single quote performs fast, but sometimes double quotation is also useful. Be remember, if you start your string with double quotation, end with double quote. If it is start with single quote, you should end with single quote. Of course, you can use single quote and double quote within a string, that I will explain by example, but in short you can say PHP supports string data type by using double quote and single quote, and boolean has a value either true or false. True or false can be small case or uppercase, these both are valid. Now, how to define variable in PHP? So, first thing you might would like to know what is variable. So, variable is a value which can be changed during program execution. In short, we can say variables store a value which is changing during program executions. The syntax for declaring variable in PHP is dollar and then variable name. So, it is very easy to spot variable in PHP because each variable must begin with dollar symbol, dollar, and then you can write variable name. Variable name can include alphabets, digits and underscore. So, you can use A to Z capital and small letter, 0 to 9 digits and underscore, but variable name cannot contain any special characters like any special character means question mark symbol, pound symbol, etc. Variable name must starts with alphabets. You cannot use double underscore or digit as a first character of your variable name. Of course, dollar will be required as a first character, but after that you cannot use neither double underscore nor digit. And PHP is a dynamic type language. Dynamic type language means you do not need to define data type when you define variable. PHP will take data type according to the value assigned to that particular variable. Say for example, if you assign $a is assigned to 15. So, at that time the data type of variable is integer. Now, you say $a is equal to 20.22. So, at that time the data type of this variable is double. If you write $a is equal to within double quotes a. So, here data type of a is string. So, it is dynamic type, it is also known as a vector type, because the data type is taken by variable as you assign value to it. To assign a value to variable, assignment operator means equal to symbol once time is used. These are example of variables. $count is assigned 10, we read it this way. So, here a dollar is prefix, or we can say at the beginning for variable name is count and assignment operator, and we assign value 10 to it. The statement is end with semicolon, or you can read it another way, value 10 is assigned to the variable count, $price 25. So, though 25 we use, but variable name start with character. So, it is valid. $first underscore name, we can use underscore special character is this value, $last name is this. We define one boolean variable as $is underscore valid, and we provide its value is assigned to true. Now, PHP has some super global variables. Super global variables means it is always available to PHP code, and this is you can use whenever in your PHP page you require, you can use it. PHP has a many super global variables. They are $globals, $underscore server, $underscore get, $underscore post, $underscore cookie, $underscore file, $underscore env for environment, $underscore request, $underscore session. Frequently we are using $underscore get and $underscore post, because these are the two methods that HTML form using. So, when a particular method is used with HTML form, the same super global variable, sometimes also called super global array, because they store value as a name and value key pair or key value pair, name and its corresponding value. So, $get and $post we are frequently use. Let us take a one small example, so you aware how to use PHP. So, for that I will open my editor NOTEPAD. I have opened in case you are not open, simply double click on it. So, that will be open your editor. In this editor, to type your PHP code, use this question mark and this tag. I think it is visible to you, unless I need to settings it. I go to the settings, preference, and let me select the font size. So, the font you can choose at in settings, edit, new document, and you can choose default language as well as I just need to find out where is it. બંધ કરજે 2 મિનિટ. વાંધો નહીં, હજી 5 મિનિટ ચાલશે જ. જો પેલી પીપીટીમાં લખેલું જ છે. कर दियो स्टार्ट આવતા રહ્યો
સર તમે રેડી
હા હા રેડી રેડી
અંદર તો સ્ટાર્ટ જ છે
એવું છે
હા આગળ ભાઈ 5 મિનિટનો બ્રેક ક્યાં પડશે
ના ના આપણે બતાવી દઈએ ને
ચાલુ કરી દેજો
ઓકે So let me show you how you can increase font size. For that you can move to the settings, style configuration. Now there is a language. So we want to use PHP. So I select PHP from here, and in default I can choose font size whatever I like. By default it is 10. Now I make 22. So click on save and close. So now your Notepad++ file has a font size 22. So let's write PHP starting tag and ending tag. It is always good idea to write the starting and ending tag simultaneously. Now first I would like to save this file. So I go to the file, save as. Remember, to run your PHP code perfectly, it must save in the Wamp directory. So I have installed Wamp directory on my H drive. Inside Wamp there are many folders, but you have to select folder on your www directory. I have www directory. In that I created one folder CVED. If you want to create new, you can create new folder from here. Let's say I first delete that folder and let me create new folder, and I give this folder as a name CVED. You can give any meaningful name. Inside that CVED, let us say I give this file name as welcome.php. So I type welcome as a file name and save as file type. You can choose PHP and click on save button. So look at, as you save it, the coding color for that tag has become red, and now when you type it will show the color of everything. Let us say I want to print hello world program. So for that PHP has a echo statement. Echo statement is display something text onto your browser. So I type echo in double quote hello world, right. Now I just save it. Now to run this program you need to open your browser. So in localhost there is a folder name called CVED. So I type CVED here slash. So inside CVED I have welcome.php. So I just click on it. So it will display hello world. So this is the first program. I just show you because you might not see it due to browser is right hand side. So I just make it small and look at here, it will show hello world. So this is your first PHP program. Now let us say make some improvisation, like user would like to enter his username and the program will display hello world space and that username. So you can either use the in same file or you can create one HTML file and then call PHP file. Let us say we will use HTML and PHP. So I create new HTML file here. So I type HTML and slash HTML. Inside HTML I would like to type body tag. Inside body, as we know, you have to use form. In form you can write action is equal to welcome.php slash form. Now inside form you can write enter your name, and you are using a text box. So you can type input type is equal to text, name is equal to, let us say username, for I give name is uname. Then you require two buttons. So I type input type is equal to submit, name is equal to submit, and value, or I do not want to provide value, then I type simply submit. Same way you can write input type is equal to reset, name is equal to reset, and here you can write reset. I save this file, save as in my CVAD folder of G drive Wamp www CVAD is welcome GUI dot HTML. So, here I choose welcome dot hypertext language. So, it will be welcome GUI, or you can simply type welcome also, because the extension is different for PHP and HTML. So, I give this file as a name welcome dot HTML. I just save it. So, again look at, if I make it first, then the color coding will make my code easier. Now, let us run it. So, I open this file from my local host, and inside local host CVAD directory, it will shows two files, welcome.html and welcome.php. So, in welcome.html, it will shows enter your name, and as I not write value in my HTML code, it will by default take value submit query for submit button and reset for reset. So, let me write here value is assigned to submit, and I do not need to write this submit, and value is assigned to reset. I just need to delete this reset, save this one, and reload the page. So, look at now, enter your name and submit and reset, we have these two buttons. Now, here I does not specify any method, but by default it is get method. So, I want to display the username what user will enter here. So, I need to use one variable. So, I define variable dollar, and let us say variable name is user is assigned to $_get, a super global variable, and inside I get the name which I define in my HTML file. I define name as uname. So, I write $get uname, and here I can type hello world to dollar or from $user, put semicolon. Now, just save this one. Now, let us run this. So, let us say I type my name Hiren and submit. So, it will display hello world from Hiren. So, here I use $get method. So, look at here, as I use $get, the URL it will display appended in the URL that uname is equal to Hiren and submit is submit, because I define value for submit button is submit. If I use $post method, here I write, because I does not specify, by default method is get. If I type here post, then this will might generate error. Why? I will show you. If I type it, so it will consider $get value from this, but ideally if you use get method, then you should use $get super global variable. If you use post here, then you should here use post. Let me clear the history and then check it, it should generate error. I go to the history and show all history, and let me delete all the history. So, let me reload this file, because get should work with get, not with post. So, let us open our Firefox browser and type http localhost. So, it will show all the folders you have available. Then you can choose CVAD folder, and inside welcome.html. Let me type Hiren Joshi, my full name, and click on submit button. So, it will give you notice undefined index uname, because in this HTML I use post method and here I use variable $get. So, I must write $_post super global variable, because I am using post method in my HTML form. So, now I save it. Let me reload this file. As I use post, it asking real. Now, look at here, if I type Hiren Joshi and submit, so it will work. So, in short, if you use method get, then I have to use super global variable $get. If you use method is post, then you must use $_post super global variable. Of course, if you are not sure which one is using in HTML, like say for example, if I use here get, let me save this one and run it. I just need to reload it because it will not reload perfectly. So, I type localhost HTTP and localhost, then there is a folder called cvad and say welcome.html. Now, I type name, say let us write any random name, I type ABCD. So, again it will generate error. So, one option is that you can use $_request super global variable, that will work for both get as well as post. Of course, get and post as a more method which is not available with in case of $request, but to give you idea, here I use $request. So, I just save this one, I back this side, reload my file by localhost /cvad. I need to type localhost, spelling mistake. So, I have to type localhost http :/localhost. In localhost, you can type cvad your folder name and welcome.html. Let us say I type xyz and submit. So, look at now it work hello world from xyz. So, this is the use of super global variable, and I can write comment here like this is my first PHP program. So, comment will by default display in green color. Through this editor you can also change the color of editor, but it is strongly recommended that we should not change it, because that will works help us to differentiate. Like blue color is used for keywords, $_request echo, which is keywords. This is user defined things. The string will display in that type of color, tag is displayed in red color. So, it will helpful to us. I just save this file and let us summarize what we have considered in today's session. So, first we know that we will be using Wamp server for learning web application development. Wamp is acronym for Windows operating system, Apache web server, MySQL RDBMS and PHP server side scripting language. You can download Wamp server from Wamp server website, and you can get whatever the require appropriate Wamp server according to your operating system, 32-bit or 64-bit. Then optionally you can use any editor to write your PHP script. I use NOTEPAD++, which is freely available editor to write the script, and then how we install it and we write a simple program which will be using PHP. PHP syntax is similar to C. PHP syntax says that each statement end with semicolon. In PHP, variable is declared by $symbol and then variable name. Variable name can contain alphabets, numbers and underscore. Variable name cannot start with double underscore or digit. PHP is case sensitive, and super global variables we can use that $get and $post. In next session we will be move forward about PHP. Thank you.
स्वाध्यायः परमं तपः। स्वाध्याय टीवी